Hey everyone, and happy Black History Month. Speaking with me today is Tina Kampa from BSU's women's hockey team. Tina, thank you for being here with me today.
Thanks for having me.
What does Black History Month mean to you as a BSU athlete?
Black History Month means a lot to me in general, but as an athlete specifically, I think for me, I am actually adopted from Colombia. So I was raised in a white family. So being an athlete of color and being in the game of hockey is definitely something that is not very common. And especially I don't think I know one other Colombian in the game of hockey. And that's kind of saying something because hockey, yes, is a big world, but it's really a small world. But I think that's kind of forced me to look to other sports. And I think specifically being a woman, there have been so many Black athletes that I look up to, obviously Serena Williams, Maya Moore, all of the WNBA women this past season. I love basketball, so the WNBA has always been a big thing for me in the last couple of years here. So the things that they did this summer just were truly inspiring to me. So Black History Month, there's so much I could say about Black History Month. I love it. I definitely think that it's a great opportunity, especially for me. Obviously I'm not white, but I'm obviously not Black. And so I think it's a great opportunity for me being in the sport that I am to continue to educate myself. Obviously there's so many great stories and people, and every year, more and more comes out. And I just think it's absolutely beautiful. And it is something that we need to celebrate, but we just need to be willing to obviously listen and to learn as much as we can, but also continue that, not just through February. But yeah, for me, it's honestly a really inspiring time. Like I said, I've had so many athletes that I've looked up to just because of being a woman and because of being in the game of hockey, but specifically just continuing to learn and educate myself, but also trying to do what I can to obviously be an advocate and an ally to those that need it, but most specifically be able to talk about it and to feel comfortable and confident in, it's okay to not know everything, and it's okay to kind of be in that learning process. And you're always going to be in that learning process, but to just try to better myself as best as I can, and to always continue to make sure that, this is Great Inspiring Month, like I said, but it doesn't stop there. And it's great to celebrate and it's great to know, but there's obviously been a lot of trials and barriers that these women and men have had to face throughout their careers, and obviously will continue to face if they are still around. But I am truly inspired. Ultimately, I think that's the best word, inspired, empowered, especially being a woman. But to continue to grow the game of hockey for me specifically within that, but also just to celebrate athletes and honestly people that have done so many amazing things for us.
In what ways have you celebrated Black History Month, or in what ways do you plan to celebrate Black History Month?
So currently I'm reading a book called Stamped, which I actually, for school, but also in general, I wanted to read White Fragility, and I just got finished with that one. So I thought this was kind of a good piggyback off of that, just for fun. But I think reading is awesome. I think obviously whether it's personal stories or, Black authors or all the above, I think those are obviously great. I've been doing a lot more of that, just kind of in my time. I'm a big podcaster. I love speaking. I love people just telling their stories, being vulnerable, just trying to help everybody around them by telling their own stories. I think there's so much power in that. So I've been trying to do a little bit more of that, obviously this month, but in general, I think I just lately have been doing a lot of that since the summer. And ultimately, like I said, I like hearing stories, so documentaries or, Netflix, or listening to Michelle Obama speak for whatever reason, just all those different things. I think kind of a culmination of that. And obviously I love music and celebrating that. And I'll listen to Beyonce until I'm dead. Probably even after that, somehow I'll make somebody play it to me. But so many things, definitely. But also just having conversations with people. And just, like I said, kind of sometimes being uncomfortable, but being willing to, once again, learn and grow and try to push myself as well. Because if I don't do that, how am I going to expect other people to do that as well? But I just, any and everything, I'm just trying to eat it all up. And it's not going to stop after February too. So I just want to make that clear to everybody. But yeah, definitely just a big fan of any way and every way that I can learn. So
awesome. I love it. Is there an influential leader in Black history or current whom you admire, and why?
Absolutely many of them, kind of like I alluded to earlier. Definitely in the sports world, like I said, like you have Serena Williams, Maya Moore, someone who was in her prime as a WNBA professional, and dropped everything to help. That story just absolutely like blows my mind every single time. Obviously, I was very sad to not see her on the court, but I know that she was doing exactly what she needed to do. And you have those players, but specifically going outside of sports and overall for me is definitely Beyonce. So those people that know me, they think I just love her for the music. Obviously, she can dance, sing, act, do the whole thing. But genuinely, just having done research and listening to things she has had to say, she's truly an inspiring and a beautiful soul. There's no other way to put it. She got me out of a really dark place in my life. And that's obviously one big thing, but the fact that she can continue to do the things that she does with being in the industry that she's in as a female, obviously as a Black woman at the age that she was, not to mention. So she grew up in that industry, and we think we know the things that she's probably been through and had to deal with, but we don't have no idea. And that to me is obviously a testimony to the things that she's done and the accolades that she's put on the table. She's always pushing the envelope, and she just absolutely blows my mind. She's the hardest worker that I don't know, but I know. I wish I knew her, but hardest worker possible. And like I said, the things that she's had to face, no human wants to hear, but I just know that there are people out there just like her that don't get the credit as well. And I think that obviously credit to her because she's got the spotlight on her and she's going to continue to have the spotlight on her, but she's always been bold. She's always never been afraid to be truly authentic and be herself and be a proud Black woman. And I think that's inspiring because being Latino, I'm probably not as educated as I should be even in my own area. And so I think that's where I come into the inspiration for that for me. And to see people, like I said, truly being authentic, but not being afraid to, say something that not everyone wants to hear, or just to be bold in that sense. And I have so much respect for that. And it's like I said, truly inspiring, but she wholeheartedly will forever continue to inspire me and surprise me. And I love her very much. So.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, definitely a great role model and lots of good reasons to look up to her.
Mm-hmm.
South African cleric and human rights activist Desmond Tutu once said, "My humanity is bound up in yours, for we can only be human together." What does this quote mean to you, and how does it relate to BSU athletics?
Yeah, that's it shouldn't be a heavy quote, but it is, in a way. To me, that is, everybody's human, and I think for whatever reason, the way that we created our society in this country, we have led people to think that the color of your skin determines so many of the outcomes that you can have in life. And I think that, if that wasn't the way that we created society in America here, I think, and even in the world, obviously, things would be different, right? But I do think that people oftentimes forget, and they're so caught up in what you look like, who you like, and all those intersectionality things where if you're a woman or whatever, at the end of the day, we are all human. We all have souls, and we all are created to be on this earth. And I think that, once again, because of the way our society was created and the way that people are raised and what we tell people when they come into this world because of what they look like, and all these putting people in boxes and whatever. Obviously that angers me, as you can tell a little bit. It's so hard to think that that's what we're still dealing with, because truly I think that we shouldn't have to. And I think it all comes back to love. And to me, love is everything. It's treating everybody the same. It's understanding that because we are in this situation, no matter who you are and what privilege you have, what you look like understanding all of those things and understanding that, you're going to have to advocate for people because not everyone's going to see things the way that you do. And perception obviously is a huge thing. But for me, obviously, I understand that I can pass as white, and I understand that, in the game of hockey, not everybody's going to know where I'm coming from because the game of hockey is majority white. So when it comes to athletics, I think that's oftentimes where we see Black people celebrated, but then when it comes to after the game, when it comes to real life social aspect in society, that's where we don't see the equality that we need to see. And that's where I don't understand. And I think so for me, like I said, it's humanity, it's love. Like we are all the same and there is no difference whatsoever. And if you can celebrate that, that's great. But however, it is still a process, and it is still something that we have to hold each other accountable for, and continue to speak out on. And obviously that's what we're doing here today, and that's what we're trying to continue to do, especially in this month. But to me, it doesn't make sense, but it does mean that we're trying to recognize we are all human, and we're going to try to get past that one day. And I really hope that that day is sooner rather than later. But I also know that it's going to be a marathon, and I don't like running, but I will do it. But yeah, it's really it's a terrible thing, like I said, that we have to deal with. But like I said, at the end of the day, I think we're going to get to a point where love is truly going to run out the hate. And I probably won't be here to see that, but I really hope that my kids and my family end up getting to one day. But definitely something that we're going to continue to work through, and really hope that people start to be open-minded and are willing to listen and create this world and society to be a lot better than it is now.
Awesome. Thank you. That was a really, really good, genuine answer. I appreciate that. Do you have any remaining thoughts or anything that you would like to tell the audience, to anyone listening?
I think I touched on a lot, not a whole lot left, but I would just say, like, take this time, this opportunity. There's a lot of people that are, putting out stories or celebrating different people, those that are not with us anymore, and then obviously those that are. So just taking the time to take advantage of those resources if they're right in front of you specifically. I know we get busy and we oftentimes forget, but try to continue to do that this month, and obviously continue to do that in the future. Try something new. I didn't love to read probably 3 years ago, and here I am reading big chapter books and doing whatever I can to just educate myself and to better understand at the end of the day. If we can do all those things, not only do we become better people, but we help those around us even more. And also just not being afraid to be bold. I think it's so important to, especially in this day and age, we just got to speak up. And if that's the truth and that's what we believe in and that's what we're passionate about, there's no reason to feel guilty or scared to do that. I think that that's a beautiful thing. And that's something that obviously those that have privilege or platform, that's something that we need to do often. And we need to make sure that we're holding ourselves accountable in those senses, because there's no reason we can't. And just continue to talk about it, having conversations. And sometimes it might feel awkward or uncomfortable, but that's okay. And that's all a part of growing. And I think we can continue to push ourselves to grow and be the best versions of ourselves. There's no reason why love can't come a little sooner than we would want it. So just thank you for this opportunity too. I really appreciate it. I think this stuff truly does make a difference as well. And it definitely helps me feel like I'm trying to do something as well. So I really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you speaking with me today, and I appreciate your genuine answers, a lot of really good answers. And I hope that everyone can learn a little bit about everything that you just said. So
absolutely. Thank you.
That's all then. Yeah, have a good day. Thank you again.
You too.